turn.
All right, good afternoon. It is 3:42. The Budget and Finance Committee meeting is now called to order. At this time, we can entertain a motion for the January 26th Budget and Finance meeting minutes.
I move for approval of the Budget and Finance meeting of January 26th.
All right, I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. That item passes. Now we can move to consideration of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move for the following items to be considered for consent. Item number 4 and 5 on page 1. Item number 7 on page 2. Item number 8 on page 3. Item number 10 on page 4. And those are the only other items I have for consent.
All right. I second those items. Also, please note that items 6 and 12 have been withdrawn.
Okay, so I move approval for those items. You second that?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The consent agenda passes. Our first item will be item 9.
Item 9, Philip Morris Community Foundation Grant. A resolution authorizing and approving the mayor to apply, submit, and accept all grant funds for the Philip Morris Community Foundation for Greater Birmingham grant in the amount of $15,000. No matching funds are required from the city. Grant proceeds, if awarded, will support the development of a native plant guide for residents and the creation of demonstration spaces showcasing native plant gardens or meadow installations.
Move the item. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Submitted by Adrian Stitt, Department Grants, extension 2434, amount $15,000.
Move the item.
Second. All right, Ms. Stitt, how are you this morning or this afternoon?
I'm fine, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Adrian Stead, and I serve as the Director of the Grants Division in the Finance Department. And this is Ms.
Hey, I'm Lauren Havard. I serve as Urban Design Administrator in PEP.
What questions do you have?
So
first?
you probably gonna have to get a little closer to your mic, and then if you could just give an overview of,
Yeah.
okay, so this is just the application. You're just-
Yes, sir.
All right, what do you intend to do if awarded?
Well, this, if we're selected, there'll be a full application that's due around, I think it's May.
The next application opens on March 12th and
March
ends on
12th.
March 30th.
Yes. So we'll submit a full application, and then, they'll notify us in the summer.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so I guess talk briefly about a native plant guide and just kind of how far ranging that is.
Sure, so we.
Come to the
hope
mic.
Sorry, we hope to put together a booklet, pamphlet. We've not 100% decided exactly what form it will take, but this is going to be a resource for Birmingham citizens. It's going to be directly tailored to the Birmingham climate, soils, amount of rainfall. So we want to put this resource together to be able to be distributed to whoever wants it. And then we also want to put together some demonstration spaces around the city. We've thought about, medians, we've thought about libraries, places that are city-owned, just to showcase what native plants can look like, because sometimes they get a bad rap, because people think they maybe look not well manicured. But, a wildflower meadow, that's a native meadow, and it's beautiful, but it's not manicured necessarily. So we just want to show kind of the benefits and, yeah.
Cool. Any questions?
Yes, thank you. This grant is very exciting to me, and of course, since no matching funds are required, that's even better. But tell me a little bit about the demonstration places again. You said median, what other areas did you think those would be?
Medians, libraries, any place that is city-owned. We're looking for low-hanging fruit, easy opportunities, easy wins.
Okay, and so as a resident, would this particular guide help me? Let's say, for instance, I may have it doesn't do this type of thing, does it? I may have an area in my yard that is more prone for sun versus shade. And I'm trying to look at what natural thing I could do for that. Does it get that far down?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely, yes. It'll have lists of, things that like to be wet, things that like to be in full sun. If you have more clay soils, if you have, yes.
Okay, and the placement or creation of the demonstration spaces, would the funds be used for that as well? Or is this simply for the tool book that you're creating or the guide you're creating?
So it's meant to be for both.
For both? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think we're ready for the vote. Oh, wait. Counselor
I'm good.
Smitherman, did you have anything to
I'm
add?
good.
So good to see you. Look radiant. All right, I think we are now ready for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that item passes. We will now move to item 11.
Item 11, Women's Foundation of Alabama, Reinvest BHAM. A resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration Distressed Area Recompete Pilot Award Subaward Agreement with Women's Foundation of Alabama, under which WFA will serve as a connector for the Child Care Accelerator Project to identify and support entrepreneurs interested in starting a new child care business, including home-based child care providers, which shall include connecting child care providers with training, technical assistance, and financial resources to maintain and grow sustainable child care pursuant to Amendment Number 772 and the terms of the grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration in an amount not to exceed $2,207,650 for a term ending on or before September 30th, 2029, submitted by Coriade Hauser, Director, Department, Innovation, Economic Opportunity, extension 2799, amount $2,207,650.
Second.
All right, Director. Always good to have you.
Just a quick question.
You wanna call them together?
13 and 14 are all related to one grant if the council decided to take those at once.
let me ask this question. So if we bring them all up at one time, if we have a problem with one versus the other, does that affect the grant application? Or by making this one vote, it means it's for the entire authorization of the funds?
I don't know if that's a question I can answer. I just wanted to be able to give all
Well,
the
because
info.
our action would be then,
Yeah, I mean, we could separate them
Let's
if we
separate
need
'em.
to.
Okay.
All right, so basically this, you're gonna allocate, you're asking to allocate some of the recompete grant funds to, okay, all right.
So, yeah, so I'll just do a quick review. Recompete, which is the federal government's name, Recompete Grant. Our name is Reinvest Birmingham. So if you hear Reinvest Birmingham in the community, it is Recompete. We just have to name the actual project. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Those are two of the same program. But the city was awarded $20 million, particularly to serve distressed areas around getting folks back to work between the ages of 25 and 54. And so we are excited to provide a little update on what we've been working on to make sure that during the transition of presidencies that everything was still intact. So it's taken us a little while through the government shutdown, some of the staff changeover, to really see the progress that we're supposed to be at right now, but we are happy that we're at this point today. And so Archie Stewart, who has been serving as our Reinvest Plan Officer, leads the entire $20 million grant with the team and the contractors, et cetera. So before you today, you'll see 3 contractors who are part of this and doing very specific work within Recompete to advance that mission of getting training out the door for residents and getting them placed in jobs. So I'm going to call Archie up to summarize the first item, and then we'll come back for the other 2.
Okay, let me ask this too, if you could, just briefly recap the expenditures thus far in terms of this pot of funding.
So mainly our expenditures have been on our governance project. So there's 5 projects to recompete. One is a governance model, which really speaks to how the grant is managed day to day. And so there's a team of folk who are involved in that. Archie being one, the other 4 started this week. And so those are just some of them. I want to note, and I think this is really important too, is that and we'll get to the North Birmingham Library, with the federal government shutdown and staff changes, things have moved at a different pace than we expected. But that was out of our hands. On top of that, staff starting, we opened the North Birmingham Technology Suite in connection with Ed Farms. And so that space there now looks completely different. And then we're getting ready to launch some other things in a couple of weeks, but those are the major expenditures so far that we've had to make sure that we can not only start strong, but end strong as well.
Hi, how are y'all? Can y'all hear me okay? Okay. So, with this particular item under the Women's Foundation is responsible for providing accelerators and capacity grants to new and existing childcare providers, including home-based and in-home providers. This is meant to help to mitigate the barrier around workforce, for individuals within our service area who may have issues with finding quality childcare.
Any questions?
I do. Thank you so much. I just want to get an understanding. So the 2 million we would be providing to Women's Foundation, then they would use that money to provide their own grants, or we're fueling their grant program. Is that correct? So I guess what I want to ask, would we have any resources in who they give these grants to, or we're giving this directly to Women's Foundation? Or the selection of who gets those grants? Would we?
Yes, so we do govern the eligibility for the
Okay.
businesses that receive the capacity grants. So with Recompete, we are challenged, or I would say we're charged to serve Pratt, Smithfield, Northside, and North
I
Birmingham.
forgot about that. Okay. And that's what I just wanted to be sure, when we give this money, now we're giving it over to Women's Foundation. I just want to be sure that we have the assurance that those areas would be supported by this money.
Correct.
Through the businesses that they would grant them to.
And I'll just add, all activities that are within recompete are primarily supposed to be used in those 4 areas.
Okay.
Because that's what the EDA approved. Now, residents from other parts of the city can engage in the grant, but the primary focus of the activities for all organizations will happen in those 4 approved areas, which the reason why they were the 4 that the EDA approved, they had the highest number of employment gap for that age group, 25 to
Makes sense.
54. And so we were able to be awarded the grant because of that high number. So a
Okay.
lot of the activity will happen in that area. Just folks from other areas possibly would have to come into those areas to get the service, but it does not exclude them.
Okay, because that was just what I wanted to clear up for myself. Just be sure again, this is primarily supporting residents within the city, and if you're saying with those 4 areas, because I know this is a regional group that has a far reach across the state even. And just want to be sure our resources, again, are going to be tailored to our residents.
And I'll just add, it's similar to BOLD, where
And I was wondering,
organizations.
what makes this different from BOLD other
Yep,
than the
very
source of the
similar sort
money?
of tracking to make sure that the services provided are to Birmingham businesses and residents.
Okay.
And so we have data tracking models that sort of speaks to all of that as well. But very similar to BOLD, where we have those organizations who serve the region,
Mm-hmm.
we ask for them to report back to us the city of Birmingham, particular residents and businesses.
And I'm glad you made, because that was going to be my next question. What makes this different from BOLD other than the resource? And I do want to be sure no one thinks that I don't believe in Women's Foundation of Alabama. I know they're a very wonderful organization. Was just with the CEO this weekend, and we talked about, I think at first it started as a Birmingham function, and then it was such a great thing that it spreads throughout the state. So that's great. Thank you. Those are my questions. Thanks.
Counselor.
Thank you. Can you rename those 4 areas? I got Pratt, Smithfield, Northside,
In North Birmingham,
and Pratt City, Smithfield, Northside.
in North
In
Birmingham.
North-
So the communities,
Okay.
not necessarily the neighborhoods.
Gotcha, okay. Gotcha. I guess my question is more, I'm looking at the scope of work and the metrics. So your goal is by October 2029 to have 30 childcare entrepreneurs. How will they be selected? Have we determined the selection process? Like, how are you going to do that?
So we're still in the process of developing the selection process that may be more granular than what the grant itself requires. And so if this item were to be passed, then that's a conversation that we're gonna dive into a lot more deeply with Women's Foundation.
Okay. And then I see also there's another metric to recruit and support the launch of 10 to 1, 5 new childcare businesses. How will those locations be determined?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear the
So
first
it
part.
says recruit and support the launch of 10, it says 10 to 1. 10, 1,
I think 10, ages 1 to 5.
oh, 1 to 5. Oh, it didn't say ages.
Yeah.
10 ages 1 to 5. It's like 1 to 5. Okay, maybe something different. New childcare businesses. So I was asking, how are you guys going to determine the locations? Like, the type of entrepreneurs that would qualify for that if they're new business owners.
So I think it's important to note, thankful to the council, some investment that you guys made a couple of years ago with Women's Foundation. They ran a home-based childcare accelerator, so you guys probably remember that. From that, they've learned a lot about who's ready to actually operate a home care sort of business. So we'll use some of that teaching and learning to then create this program. And then the second part about where they're chosen, we also ran a child care landscape analysis throughout the region. That was work that IEO did with an expert in childcare, and she made it relative to some of the opportunities at the state. So we'll use those two data points and resources to really help us understand where we are today and then where those go in the particular service area. We do have an opportunity that it could be outside of the service area. Obviously, you have to get approval from the EDA, but we believe we have strong enough data, not just relative to EDA, but relative to our childcare landscape, which is something our workforce team has been working on for the last 2.5 years. And so this gives us that opportunity to use that data to then decide business-wise where they go, who's ready to scale, et cetera.
Oh, good, good. I'm happy to hear that. Because, I learned this new phrase, we talk about food deserts, but we're actually in a childcare desert. And so I think, this is very timely. And I had completely forgotten about the home-based childcare accelerator. It's really good to have people who are ready to establish a business, instead of recruiting people and, trying to get them through that process to start with the paperwork. So I'm really excited. I really think, even though Smithfield isn't in my district anymore, these areas are in desperate need, especially since they have so many schools that would feed from that daycare into the elementary schools. So I think I'm good. Thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah, so thank y'all. I think this is a really, really creative opportunity to be able to bring this into the city. I would ask, so just trying to gauge like the levels of support that would be available to, say, an individual. So let's look at one of the startups. And I think like the idea of supporting them with actually like personnel, I want to say $17 an hour is pretty cool. So is there some sort of metric around like what percentage of staff we can support, or like what you're responsible for versus what we can help with, and what that kind of balance is like? Has that
So
been determined?
there's some intentionality on how we design the program. So just our strategy around workforce talent development is all around lowering barriers. So that's on the business side and the resident side. So for the businesses, that's what we look at. What is your barrier to success? For some people, that is workforce, particularly in childcare. It's majority of their barriers workforce. So what we start to look at with our partners is not only the direct staff help to make sure they're giving a livable wage, but to also start looking at how to get help through the permitting process with the state. They make sure that they have the necessary trainings and certifications from the state that is relative to how they can run their business. So the support is very direct for each business that'll be in this cohort. And so they get to help co-create what that support looks like versus a prescriptive program that says, here's what all childcare businesses need. Now, there's a standard, obviously, because they're certified by the state. But outside of that, this cohort then starts to help them really understand how to run a business, not just childcare.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about this type of like creativity coming alongside. I think, in terms of the individual, I know this is like a 5-year window, but will the businesses get like that commitment up front? So will they get, like, for instance, if they have a, say, 3-year window where they know they're gonna get like financial dollar support in terms of personnel, they may be able to leverage that and get upgrades at their facility, things like that. So like, is there thought around like helping them 360 degrees?
I think our response is, as long as the funding is available from the federal government, we can plan for that.
Okay. Noted. All right, so I would just say, like, I like this, I would just say, knowing my colleagues, if we could have the fine people over at the Women's Foundation attend whenever this gets to full council. All right, any additional questions? All right, we are ready for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that item passes. Thank you all. So we're going to 13.
Item 13, Child Care Resources, Inc., Reinvest Birmingham, A resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration Distressed Area Recompete Pilot Award Subaward Agreement with Child Care Resources, Inc., under which Child Care Resources will serve as part of the Reinvest Birmingham initiative, strengthening early childhood education, ensuring families have reliable access to high-quality, affordable child care, and Child Care Resources shall expand its technical assistance program to support child care providers with resources and mentorships pursuant to Amendment Number 772 in the terms of the grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration in an amount not to exceed $644,784 for a term ending on or before September 30th, 2029, submitted by Coriate Hauser, Director, Department Innovation and Economic Opportunity, extension 2799, amount $644,784.
Move the item.
Welcome back.
Hello again.
Hello.
Okay, so, similar to Women's Foundation, Child Care Resources, or the amount that we're allocating or seeking to allocate to Child Care Resources is specifically, for personnel within their organization to provide the mentorship, and technical assistance for individuals who are seeking to become childcare providers. So if you think about Women's Foundation, it's more facility organization-based. Childcare Resources helping or assisting individuals who are aspiring to or already are within that industry and want to further or upskill. So pretty much that step before being ready for Women's Foundation's level of support.
Questions?
Yes, how many, business owners are we aiming for? Like, what's the goal?
How many business owners we're seeking to support?
Yes,
The same amount for Women's Foundation, so between 10 and 15.
okay. Okay,
But their metric is not, they're not tracking the same metrics, so it's not duplicative.
okay, so what are the metrics then?
Well, I mean, in the sense of Women's Foundation is charged with 10 to 15, but Child Care Resources is also the 10 to 15, but not the same individuals that
Okay.
Women's Foundation is serving.
Gotcha, is this like like 6 week, or is it ongoing as needed? I'm trying to look for it, sorry.
Yes, ongoing as needed. So it's not,
Oh, here it is.
yeah. It's not, Women's Foundation is more of like they have a weekly, they have the accelerator model. For Child Care Resources, their current model is as needed support and technical assistance and wanting to apply that for, again, for just for recompete.
Okay, gotcha. And I'm happy to see that hardly any of it is going towards salary, because I know that's a big thing when we get grant money or allocate money, that sometimes like 40% or 50% will go towards the salary. So, thank you.
No problem.
So I would say, I think Women's Foundation was 30 and 10 startups, right?
Oh, per year. So Women's Foundation is 10 to 15 per year, 30 over the entire life cycle of the grant. Sorry,
Details.
my apologies.
Okay. All right, yeah, so let's talk. Madam President, would you like to ask a question? Go right ahead, go right ahead. Got good
Piggyback on, some of the scope of activities in here does include 3 positions.
Well-
And those are for their training or their ability to identify people that this would help. This doesn't necessarily mean we're just gonna hire 3 positions here with this money. This is to help them facilitate this program.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That was all I had.
Yeah, so it's for the positions, but also for the maker space to facilitate that training as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have like the Department of Commerce Notice of Award document. Do you have that?
Can you say that one more time?
Department of Commerce Notice of Award document.
Yes, I do have it.
All right. So we got 3.9 on this. Kind of talk me through how this relates to the overall recompete / reinvest Birmingham $20 million pot.
How it's allocated. The whole amount, yeah.
So, okay, yeah, so that 3.9 is a part of that particular initiative. So it's the Child Care Center of Excellence. So just overall strategy that we have for the Child Care Center will be to not only give extra seats in Birmingham, but to be a model of how childcare excellence can work in Birmingham. So that's from a business standpoint as far as operations, how to pay, how to, run the business of being a childcare, because most of them operate a deficit year to year. And so we are piloting a program with Women's Foundation, with Childcare Resources, to ultimately feed up into this funnel called the Childcare Center of Excellence, that then we begin to replicate how to run a childcare facility with some sort of profit. Because all that we heard from the last 2 years from childcare facilities, that they cannot come out of deficit. They do it because they love to work with children and they know that they need it. But as far as business, most of them say they should not be doing it because they run a deficit. And so we're taking this grant as an opportunity to say, let's start to figure out those pain points, be it personnel, be it operations, back end, bookkeeping, licensing, et cetera. And if we eliminate those barriers, then how does that set these centers up for success? So all of these activities funnel up to an actual center that we'll be partnering with community development on Choice, to be a center that not only serves students, but also teachers can then come into that center to continue that training year to year to learn how to continue working in a spirit of excellence.
Right. So I guess what I want to determine is, basically out of the overall 20 million requests, 3.9 was a requested specifically for childcare. And that is the extent of what will be invested in the childcare space.
Right, yeah. So we presented a larger budget.
Right.
They gave us what they thought was appropriate for each initiative. But yes, that is it.
And then this item was 644,000. I guess talk a little bit more about how all those funds are allocated. How many years are these positions included for?
Yeah, it's the same from to 2029. And I will add, we are looking at this from a standpoint of making sure that we can be successful. So it's not that these positions, should the council pass the agreement, they're hired and then they just get to go and do. Like, there's monthly check-ins to make sure that we're hitting those numbers at the end of the grant period. So there's a little bit more layered into this than them just hiring staff. They also have to report that grant activity back to the team to make sure that we're tracking for that.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Like I said, just like to make sure we get a good in-depth understanding. Sometimes people grab Madam President and make her explain it all in detail. All right, I think we are ready for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that item passes. Thank you all. We will jump to item 14.
Item 14, Birmingham Promise, Reinvest Birmingham. A resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration Distressed Area Recompete Pilot Award Subaward Agreement with Birmingham Promise, under which Birmingham Promise will serve as part of the Reinvest Birmingham initiative, strengthening the Cradle to Career Talent Pipeline as a core strategy to support Birmingham residents beginning as early as high school. Birmingham Promise will expand its work-based learning and apprenticeship exploration program with Birmingham Board of Education, specifically at Jackson Olin High School, pursuant to Amendment Number 772, and the terms of the grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration in an amount not to exceed $400,000 for a term ending on or before September 30th, 2029, submitted by Coriate Hauser, Director, Department Innovation and Economic Opportunity, extension 2799, amount $400,000.
Move the item.
Welcome back again.
Okay, so for Birmingham Promise, they are under a separate component of the grant. So they would fall under component one, which is workforce training. So as Director Hauser was saying earlier, the primary purpose of the grant is to ensure that prime age individuals within the service area are provided with support and wraparound services and employment opportunities, but we also incorporated the K-12 pipeline as well. And so Birmingham Promises part in the grant is to provide work-based learning opportunities and exploration and exposure to employer partners, but as well as their internship program, and allocating these funds specifically for Jackson Olin, who lies within the footprint of the grant.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just one question, is that the only school that falls within that footprint?
It's not the only school that falls within the service area specifically, but the EDA approved Jackson Olin as well as the other activities that are going on with Jackson Olin, so CTE, dual enrollment specifically. Jackson Olin meets the criteria for engagement there.
Were any other high schools in that, I'm gonna say footprint, were those submitted and they were just rejected?
So part of this was a partnership with the school board. So we worked with Dr. Sullivan's team to identify the school. And part of that, they thought Jackson Ole was more poised for this type of investment because of what they've done in the CTE. Not saying that Parker or Carver was not qualified, but in working with the Board of Education, they decided that Jackson Olin would be the school because they've already advanced to a point that it's not just about training and programming, but now you can actually place those students in jobs. And some of the other programs, I think, just wasn't as fully developed yet.
So you can only pick one school to do this?
Right, yeah.
Oh, gotcha,
Yep.
okay, okay, I just thought it was just like, just because JO was more established, that was it.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So it wasn't about who's overqualified or underqualified.
Okay.
It was just a matter of picking the one school that could be funded at a rate that not just gave funding for programming, but for the entirety of programming and placement, and then hopefully tracking at the end of that so that we can see what place-based development
Gotcha.
does.
No, I'm happy JO is getting that. I kind of think they're the most overlooked Birmingham City High School as well. And do you know how many students would be in this type of program?
So our goal is to serve 260 students for
wow.
work-based learning and internships, but specifically for the internship portion, we're seeking to hit 40 by year 5.
40.
And then for work-based learning, 220 students. And that effort isn't just being met by Birmingham Promise. We have another contractor who is also being considered there too as well.
Okay. And that would be juniors and seniors, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you.
Questions? Yes. So going back, looking at the model and some of the things, the scope of the activities, I just want to be sure that I'm clear. When we talk about the CTE program at a particular school, do they have to have certain careers that they're interested in, or does it have to meet this goal of childcare resources as careers, or is that maybe one of the other reasons that the school system decided to put it in this, or do they have more concentrated areas or concentrated requests for that being my type of, profession I want to go in? Or can you help me?
Part of that is that.
Help me with my own question.
Part of it is that, and also part of it is that the students at that school also have relatives, parents, et cetera, that are also in the prime age employment gap.
Oh,
And so we almost get two with one stone, right? So you start there at the high schooler, but we hope that translates at home, and then those students and the parents can take advantage of the program. So part of your question, yes, that they had a higher concentration. And then the second part to that is also the data suggests that those parents were also in a concentrated effort or a concentrated area for prime age employment gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I just want to be sure that I'm clear. I'm not trying to run the business of the school system. I just want to be sure that we have some equity and opportunity all across the city. And I know, or at least within the landscape of these communities. And we do have other high schools that are out there, but I can understand certain schools being prepared or the interest, and that might be managing this. So there's no way that we could ever increase that capacity, because this is what the grant was applied for and was provided for.
Right, unfortunately, that's the work that they have approved for that. Now, we could look at later using this as a model to say, here's how we scale this throughout the school system. But for this particular grant, that's what they approved the activity to be. And I think it's also important to note that this is hydroponics, which is a very unique skill set for them to have. They have a hydroponics lab there. And so it's not just, career exploration,
you.
but there's a very technical skill set that expands beyond green space that they also get there. So I think that's another
That makes
part that
sense
made
to
it
me.
attractive.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you. My question.
Thank you, Mr. Director. I believe we're ready for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. That item passes. We will move to item 15.
Item 15, Tyler Technologies, Inc., Encode, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver a software-as-a-service agreement with Tyler Technologies, Inc., under which Tyler Technologies will provide software, professional services, and ongoing maintenance and support services related to Tyler Technologies, Inc.'s Encode software licensed by Tyler Technologies, Inc. to the city of Birmingham by migrating Encode to their host environment for municipal court, for a term of 3 years in an amount not to exceed $797,286, submitted by Annette Harris, Department IMS, extension 2751, amount $797,286.
All right, Director, the floor is yours.
Darrell Burrows, I serve the city of Birmingham as Director of IMS. What we're requesting is a resolution to software as a service to move Encode, which is municipal courts application, to the cloud. As you all know, we've gone cloud first. This is one of the 3 applications that we left behind that's running on unsupported equipment. We're moving to a software services model.
All right, so you'll have to raise your mic up a little bit. And so, for clarity, we're gonna migrate over 3 years? Or is this
Yes,
something-
well, it won't take us 3 years. We'll migrate over a couple of months, and then this is the cost for 3 years for using their service.
I got you. So we have to read this up down the road.
Sir?
So we have to re-up down the road.
Yes, sir, in 3 years.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
I have one. So, just to be sure I'm clear, I know this is for municipal court, and you're migrating to the cloud for them. So, within this 3-year period, is this like to keep things, are you gonna have to still store that data with them for auditing, or maybe we have to go back and look at something for using that Tyler Technology piece of this?
Right, so we're migrating all of that data.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think that answers it for me. I just wanted to be sure, because I'm really trying to see how this relates to 16 as well. So
Right.
I'll answer
Yeah.
that question later. Thank you.
All right, well, since Chief Mitchell didn't come today, we can have a little fun. So we'll ask, with kind of migrating this to the cloud, would there be any avenue for us to kind of keep up real time with maybe disposition of caseload?
Good question.
So I can't answer that question. I know there's some additional functionality with the model that's in the cloud. I would have to get back with you on that.
All right, since we got Josh here, I'll share, but it might be a good idea to maybe maybe some sort of city dashboard for the council to be able to keep up with like how many cases were ruled on today, environmental court, maybe making that information easily accessible for the hardworking council.
And it's on our agenda tomorrow, so if we could probably kind of be prepared for that kind of question. Thanks.
Yeah, and probably more too. All right. Thank you. I think we're
The
ready to
question
vote.
is to have a dashboard or somewhere of providing you guys with data related to the cases that they have, the caseload.
Probably not anything that we shouldn't have access to, but more so just understanding, when a case was set initially, when a decision was made or ruling was made, was there a stay, just kind of what happened with these cases, because it's kind of hearkening back to a long-going conversation around code enforcement and when it gets sent to municipal court, so it's probably, like I said, more of a Josh's side of the street question, but if it is doable, that would be good information to have
Yeah.
with this sizable investment to upgrade our functionality. But I think we're ready for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that item passes.
Thanks.
We'll call item 15.
16.
Item 16,
Oh, I'm sorry, you were right. Is it
No, I was
15,
wrong.
16? Okay.
16.
Tyler Technologies, Inc. Annual Support Agreement. A resolution authorizing and approving the mayor to execute and deliver an annual support agreement between the city of Birmingham and Tyler Technologies, Inc., covering the maintenance and support services for New World software for a period of up to 3 years. The purchase of these maintenance and support services shall be made in accordance with the cooperative purchasing contract through Sourcewell, contract number 060624 TTI. The estimate for the maintenance and support cost over the next 3 years is as follows. 25-26, approximately $222,440.02. 2026 through 2027, approximately $232,512.02. In 2027 through 2028, approximately $244,137.62. The city is authorized to expend an amount not to exceed $698,099.66 for the purchase of these services. Submitted by Annette Harris, Department IMS, extension 8685, amount $698,099.66.
Move the item.
Welcome back.
Darrell Service, Ms. Director. So this particular portion of New World is for the ERP. We have approximately 10 or 12 years of data that is stored in ERP that was not converted into Oracle. So we have to build out those databases and create a warehouse, data storage warehouse to move that data into.
So there's no interface or anything that,
No, that data would have had to be converted.
boom. Any questions? That hurts. That hurts. Remind me on the Oracle, are they, go back to the origin of, why did we go away from that? I'm trying to remember the initial, what platform is the data the old data on currently? That we're talking
SQL,
about? On what?
it's a SQL database.
SQL, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we moved to
I got you.
Oracle.
Okay. All right. Hurts, there's not an easier way. All right, so we are ready for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that item passes. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
All right. We have now come to unfinished business. All right, seeing none, any new business?
I move for adjournment.
Straight to item 19. Straight to item 19. All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that item passes. The meeting is now adjourned.